Shalom. Kahal Yahal Ba'Hashem Yahushai Ba'Hashem Kodash. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS, including the elders that came before them that taught us His truth. Shalom and salutations to all the brothers that push in word and truth and in sincerity, the hopeful elect tabernacle of David. My brother Yahshua, I'm back with a quick lesson. We're going to go into the chariots because the Spirit is on me. Okay, so this is Genesis 32 and 1. We're just going to read some of these different versions. NIV. Jacob also went on his way, and the angels of God met him. All right, same thing. Angels of God came to meet him. The angels of God, Okay, and we get all the way down to Amplified. And it says, then as Jacob went on his way, the angels of God met him to reassure and protect him. Okay. You get down here to Brenton Septuagint translation. And Jacob departed for his journey, and having looked up, okay, like the movie Don't Look Up, and having looked up, he saw the host. What does this word host mean? The word host means army. The army of God encamped, and the angels of God met him. Okay? So you see what we're dealing with. We're dealing with the heavenly hosts, messengers. Okay? All right, so these are the chariots. Okay? Let's get 2 Kings. All right. 2 Kings 6 and 16. This is the encounter with Elisha. Let's jump up here real quick and get start at 15. And when the servant of the man of the Most High was risen early and gone forth, behold, a host compassed the city, an army, all right? The city both with horses and chariots. This is the other army that was there to capture Elisha and his servant. And his servant said unto him, alas, my master, how shall we do? And he answered, fear not, for they that be with us, Most High's army, are more than that be with them. And Elisha prayed and said, I pray thee, open his eyes that he may see. And the Lord opened the eyes of the young man, and he saw, and behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire round about Elisha. Okay? So, there was an army, okay, to counter the other army. They were just invisible, all right, because they can do that. All right, so with that being said, we get one more. Let's see. Let's get Psalm real quick, Psalm 68 and 17. Psalm 68, 17. The chariots of the Most High are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord is among them as in Sinai in the holy place. All right. Now, let's watch this little thing here. This is May 27th, 2021, Ward Carroll. The truth behind the Super Hornet UFO encounters. The Tic Tac incident, if you will. Let's listen to what Ward has to say, if this is Ward himself. Okay.
So on November 14th, 2004, the USS Nimitz is off the coast of Southern California doing training exercises, what we call workups, getting ready for the next deployment. Aboard the Nimitz, as one of the Super Hornet squadrons in the air wing, is VFA 41 the Black Aces. Now, that squadron is familiar to regular viewers of my channel because VF-41 was a Tomcat squadron aboard USS Nimitz in 1981 when they had the first Gulf of Sidra incident, and two airplanes from VF-41, two Tomcats, shot down two Libyan Su-22s. So same squadron. So you fast forward, it's now 2004. VFA-41 is attached to the air wing. They launch a Section 2 airplanes to do training. During this hop, the cruiser in the battle group, the USS Princeton, which has a very good radar system, has this contact they want these two VFA-41 airplanes to investigate. And they say, we've been tracking this contact for some days, can you check it out? So the two-plane of Super Hornets, in this case, is led by the squadron commanding officer, Commander Dave Fravor, former Top Gun instructor. And on his wing is Lieutenant J.G. Alex Dietrich, who's a first tour, what we call a nugget pilot. Princeton gives them range, bearing, and altitude, and they fly to that place. The skipper, Commander Fravor, tells Lieutenant J.G. Dietrich, hey, hang overhead and I'm going to go down and investigate, because at this point, the contact is down at low altitude. So he describes this contact as a tic-tac looking thing. So tic-tac, you remember tic-tac, the candy that comes in these little dispensers. And he also describes the motion as like a ping pong ball, very erratic, unlike anything you would see from a normal airplane. All right, so let's go to our training aids. So as the skipper is coming downhill, he sees the tic-tac looking bogey at very low altitude, moving, as we said, like a ping pong ball, very erratically. And then suddenly it flies up towards him and they merge. So he's like, is this going to be a dogfight scenario? What's going on? I mean, it's definitely got his attention. But to his surprise, the tic-tac, the bogey, just stops and mirrors his movement. They do that for a short while, and then suddenly the tic-tac just disappears.
Okay, so what he was saying is this vehicle here can only fly straight and turn. So what he was describing is this vehicle was proceeding forward, and the tic-tac, as he calls it, came and was flying backwards. Well, this thing can't stop. The tic-tac can. And then fly backwards with this and mirror his movements. If he tries to go right, tic-tac goes right, knowing exactly what he's going to do. This is what he's trying to describe, and doing a terrible job. Okay, so the angel knew what the dude was thinking, right? And when he went to do something, whatever he did, whatever maneuver he did, while flying backwards, the tic-tac was able, the angel was able to show him, look, I know what you're doing. I know what you're thinking. Okay. And they have several incidents like this where the angel is letting the pilot know and letting everybody who's watching, because they got this on radar, everybody's watching this. They're letting the opposition, okay, know, look, there's nothing you can do. There's absolutely nothing you can do. All right? Now, complete superior intelligence, firepower, everything. Look at the devil right here. The devil is perplexed because you are not God. Okay? And the word God means power. You are not the power. This is all you got. Now, as we let him continue to talk, he's dismayed because he's not the greatest power. And he knows there's superior power. And whenever he says aliens, he's going to say alien. They're not going to say, well, this is God. Well, these are the angels. They can't even think that far. This is Esau. This is the basest of men who's been given a little bit of technology. Now you think you're God and you're not. All right, so let's let him talk. Let him continue to talk. All right, because we know, the men of the Lord, we know what's going on. This is the upcoming war in heaven that hasn't happened yet. All right. Salakia.
And it's picked up a few minutes later by the USS Princeton again, 60 miles away, which, if you do the math, the time distance, means it went several times the speed of sound. There's no known aircraft, domestic or foreign, that can perform like that.
Sure there is. Just doesn't belong to you. Okay. There's a superior army host. Okay. And it goes all the way back to the time of Elijah and Elisha. And they were telling you about it in the scriptures. It's throughout the scriptures. The angels of God are 20,000, even thousands of angels. All right. This is nothing new. What were the Foo Fighters back in World War II? The Foo Fighters were what? Was that a new technology that they were coming out with then? No, it was the same thing. All right, same thing we're seeing today. All right.
The two VFA 41 airplanes land, they debrief the intelligence officer in the Carrier Information Center. And in turn, they also wind up talking to the strike group commander, the admiral. And he says, okay, I got it. And they hear anecdotally that he brought it up to the Pentagon and they're going to take it under advisement. So basically, nothing happens. They are told, do not talk about this. This is classified. Their FLIR footage is taken and made into top secret material. All right, so now fast forward to 2010. A guy named Luis Alejandros is starting this program, which is called ATIP, which stands for the Advanced Aerospace Threat ID Program. So his job is to take all of these sightings, all of the FLIR footage, different things, and try to run them to ground to figure out what is this. Basically, it's one of three things. It's either a domestic developmental program, or it's a near peer, so that means basically Russia or China spy program, or it's aliens.
The Most High. Okay. Out of his own mouth. And he still don't know. See, because this dude thinks he's God. All right. And he's basically explaining something is greater than us. Right? Of course, God. All right. And what Elisha said, okay, Elisha said, those that be with us are greater than them that be with, they that be with them. Okay? Meaning, what is the name of these craft? All right, we don't have to watch any more of this. It's going to go too long. If you want to watch it, it's Ward Campbell, or it's Ward Carroll, May 27, 2021. The Truth Behind the Super Hornet UFO Encounters. All right? So, we know what these things are. We know what is going to happen. We know that this hasn't happened. Oh, well, that already happened, and the devil got kicked out of heaven. No, sorry. Revelation 12 and 7. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, the great red dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels and prevailed not. Okay? Neither was their place found any more in heaven. If we go back here, we can find the actual dogfight, the Cold War dogfight footage. Come on. Right here. Let's let him explain that real quick.
Officers based there at the Naval Air Station Oceana, and they didn't seem to do much with the information. So here's some FLIR footage. What you see here, and I have used the Lantern Pod, which is a FLIR, forward-looking infrared. This is AT FLIR, which is the Super Hornets FLIR, advanced targeting, forward-looking infrared.
So these are the crosshairs of the Super Hornet, his plane. And this here is what they would call the target, the Chariot of Israel, the angel, right? Playing with these super archaic, if you will, opposition. These planes that can only go forward. They can't disappear. They can't make right angle turns. Okay? They can't go backwards. All right? The angels are laughing and toying with these things. They can't become submersible. All right?
And FLIRs basically use not heat, but heat emits light, so it uses a contrast in light to paint the image. You can see in this FLIR footage the Wizzo in the back seat is able to get a contrast lock, and if he loses it, he can reacquire it. He's going between what we call white hot and black hot.
Okay, so my question is this a fighting man in this man's military? The answer is yes. He's a pilot, Navy or Air Force pilot, okay, which is part of the military, the fighting force, all right? And the Army or military is a host. He's part of the host of Babylon the Great, if you will, all right? Like the Roman army, okay? This is modern day Rome, so he's part of that. Now, this, okay, this Super Hornet, if you will, is a war chariot. This is a war chariot of the Most High's host. Two different armies, right? This is Cold War, so they're not firing on each other, right? But he's got a radar lock on this thing, okay? And if they started firing at each other, first of all, this guy could disappear. He could make a right angle turn. This guy got to go straight. You just know that there's superior firepower here. You understand? And the chariots of the Lord cannot be shot out of the sky, first of all. So when you hear stories, oh yeah, we took down a UFO. No, you didn't. That was a man-made one, not the chariots of the Lord. Not an angel. All right? You already said the angel knew what you were going to do. So when you reach for your weapons, the angels just disappear before you can fire off a shot. He knows what you're going to do. Get right behind you, laser you, shoot you right out of the sky. Okay? This, right, even though they haven't gone hot, they're just Cold War dogfighting, if you will, is this. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon. This is not heaven. New Heart English Bible. There was war in the sky. Okay? That's what it is. All right? That's what it is. All right, and we can keep it. We can keep it short. I'm gonna shorten it down. I just thought that this interview, see, because he's putting, uh, he's narrating this scenario here. I use this footage a lot, right? But this guy is breaking it down. He's saying this is what's going on. Listen.
To establish the lock, so sometimes based on atmospherics or whatever the heat signature is, it's easier to get a contrast lock using white hot instead of black hot or vice versa. You see range to the contact, you see depression angle, you see altitude of the airplane, you see airspeed, all kinds of other stuff all around the perimeter of the display. And then also you see they jump between the TV picture and the FLIR picture.
He's describing the upcoming war in heaven. All right? Or shall I say it's already started, they just haven't started firing on each other. Much like what's going on over in Eastern Europe right now. They're all lined up. They're getting ready to start firing on each other. They just haven't started firing on each other yet. Okay? You see who the opposition is. You see who the enemy is. This guy says, I see you. This guy says, I see you. When does the firefight start? Okay? Well, let's take a look at it. Apparently, I don't have let's see. All right. Let's look at the weapon systems on the chariots. Start at 9. Second Ezra is 13 and 9. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand nor held sword or any instrument of war. What are we talking about here? We're talking about a fight. Right? But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth, as it had been, a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempest. This is referring to lasers coming out of the chariots of Israel. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight. Who is the multitude that was prepared to fight? Okay, all the armies of the world. And burned them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. So, this just told you, okay, what happened here. And there was a war in heaven. Okay? There was a war in heaven, in the sky. All right? There was a war in the sky, and here's how it went. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight. All right, that's the dragon and his angels, and burned them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude, nothing was to be perceived. Burned, understand these words, and burned them up, every one. Okay? Burned who up? Every one. Revelation Revelation 19 and 19. And I saw the beast, okay, NATO, the EU, and Babylon the Great, and the kings of the earth, Vladimir, uh, Sleepy Joe, Trudeau, Jinping, and their armies, okay, their host, and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army. All right. What does this mean? It goes back to this. All right. Here's what happened in that fight. All right. All right. So that's enough. All right. We're getting close to that war. All right. When World War III starts in earnest, okay, here's what's going to happen. Okay. This is 2nd Ezra 13 and 33. And when all the people hear his voice, every man shall in their own land leave the battle they have one against another. The battle that they have one against another is called World War III. Okay. And when all the people fighting each other in World War III hear his voice, which is when they see those lasers and they see those chariots come out of the fourth dimension, they're going to stop fighting each other, right? And they're going to fight against Yahushua and the angels. And an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together as thou sawest them willing to come and to overcome him by fighting. All right? So, we're looking forward, right? World War III is ramping up, and this thing is about to be over. We want to see it. We want to see the fireworks. This is a great movie, all right? So with that, we hope that the elect were edified. We're going to say shalom.